Coming up in this Brightline Construction update, this update looks at the newly extended Bonaventure siding that was put into service during the ATC19 cutover. ATC19 activated about 8 miles of the new second main line and new signals between CP Bonaventure and CP Pineda. For a full overview, check out the link above or in the description below. The Bonaventure siding runs in between the new crossovers at CP Bonaventure to CP Vieira. We'll start with a look at CP Bonaventure from April, which I never got around to publishing. At this time, crews were still in the process of building most of the track through here, including the new main line and crossovers. The siding also had just had its ties laid out. You can see ties piled in their weeds on the right for the second half of the crossover, which would be installed here. We'll now move forward to early July, when construction and ballasting was wrapping up and the new cantilever signals were not installed yet. CP Bonaventure is a single crossover, allowing southbound trains to move from the east main line to the west main line, and northbound trains to move from the west main line to the east main line. Past the crossover is the turnout leading to the Bonaventure siding. The crossover is set up so trains on either main line can access the siding. The Bonaventure siding was still in the process of being ballasted at this point. At the time of the cutover, only the eastern track north of here will be in active service, with the western one being activated in a future cutover. Now on the day of the cutover, July 24th, when the tracks and signals are being activated here. The signal heads had been turned to face the tracks and turned on for the first time shortly before I arrived, and crews were working to activate all of the new systems. Track work here was complete, other than some additional tamping that would occur after the cutover was complete. You can see the signals lit up here. We'll now move south to between Carver Street and Anson Road, also in early April to begin with. The new mainline track was skeletonized, which means the rail is attached to the ties, but not yet ballasted. Ties for the extended siding were also spread out, but no rail was attached yet. This turnout will end up being relocated into the extended Bonaventure siding, so the industry could be serviced without affecting the main line. This turnout will also be removed. Now on July 16th, and earlier in the day, this turnout had been removed from the existing main line and relocated to be in the future Bonaventure siding to access a lumber company. The siding had previously been built as far as it could until the turnout was relocated and could be connected to. The customer was without service for about a week while the construction was being completed. You can see the new ties in the main line where a piece of panel track was installed to fill the gap left by the turnout. The following day, this turnout, which had been the previous north end of the Bonaventure siding, would be removed so the siding could connect in with the extension to the north. The piece of panel track that would go in the place of the turnout was built off to the side here. The siding on the far left here with the gondolas would remain as it is. Now on the day of the cutover, and the new siding was fully constructed and ballasted. Once again, you can see new ties in the center track where the old turnout had been removed. The relocated lumber customer turnout was connected to the siding, but still needed to be connected into the customer's spur, which would be completed the following day. Overall, the siding was extended north by about a mile. While I was flying, a Holland Company electric flash bud welding truck was getting ready to high route down the tracks to weld some joints on the north end of the siding. Work train AFW1 was holding on the main line in preparation for dropping ballast at the turnout removal on the north end of the old Pineda siding. That work will be featured in my next video. We are now at the south end of the siding at CP Vieira, where crews were actively working to finish constructing the siding. This end of the siding was also being extended by several hundred feet. The old southern turnout was removed the previous day, and it being in place prevented this work from being done until it was removed. To match the existing siding and FPC standards, the siding was being built with wood ties. The Holland truck was getting set up so they'd be ready to weld the joints when called upon. This grapple truck was adjusting the final piece of rail so it would be cut to length. This cantilever signal protects the two mainline tracks through CP Viera. CP Viera is a mirror image of CP Bonaventure, but for trains headed south instead. The siding is protected by a regular signal. And here are the two number 24 turnouts that make up the CP Viera crossover. Now the week after the cutover, and here's a look along the full siding, headed south, starting at CP Bonaventure. The lumber company's siding was fully connected by now. There were two center beam cars inside the facility that were being unloaded. The Anson Road crossing, like all the other 4 crossings within the ATC19 limits, had their quad gates activated during the cutover. Having gates across all lanes of traffic is a requirement for the 110 mph speeds that will eventually occur through this area. The existing siding track in this area was not touched during the work here, so the only change in this area was the addition of the new main line on the left. And here you can see the siding fully built and ballasted. The siding also had a split point derail installed. A derail is required on all sidings that connect to the mainline as a safety measure for the increased mainline speeds. And finally, the CP Viera crossover. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Also check out my social media pages.